All right, today we're going to talk about volumes of cylinders. And you probably know what a cylinder is. It's like a can of soup or that type of thing. So the volume of a cylinder, essentially the official equation is radius squared times pi times height. Sometimes you'll see pi first, it'll be pi times radius squared times height. It doesn't matter the order because we're multiplying everything, you can interchange the order. But what we're really doing is taking the radius squared times pi and then times the height. And where this actually comes from, if you take the area of a circle, that's going to be pi r squared. So that's where, or r squared pi. So that's where this part comes from. And if you stacked up a bunch of circles on top of each other, you eventually create a cylinder. And so that's why the height comes in to the equation. So it's really the area of a circle, the area of a base, times height. And that becomes a big theme for volumes of objects, is the base times the height. All right, so for this specific example, they give us the radius is 16, the height is 18. So if we plug it in, 16 squared times pi times the height is going to give you, if you leave pi out of the calculation, you're going to get 4,608 pi. And typically that's how we prefer you leave the answer. You could multiply that by pi and get a bigger value in decimal. Sometimes that's okay, but for this example, we'll leave it just like so. All right, the next example now not only has it's not a vertical can necessarily, it's a can that's kind of shifted, but we do the same thing. And the example I use is if you stack a bunch of papers on each other and just shift them, the amount of paper hasn't changed, just the direction that the papers are laying. And so the height still is important, and so we still use that height value. They give us a diameter of 10, which gives us a radius of 5, and then a height of 25. And so when we plug this in, 5 squared pi times 25, we get a volume of 625 pi. All right, the next example, they give us a diameter of 32, so the radius is going to be 16, and then we have our height of 41. So this is just a standard question, just given a diameter this time. All right, and we take 16 squared times pi times 41 gives us 10,496 pi, 10,496 pi. All right, example 4, the volume of a cylinder is 4,622.9 cubic inches and has a radius of 9 inches. What is the height? So this question is a little different from what we've had because now they give us the volume and we have to find one of the other variables on the other side. So in this case, volume is equal to r squared pi times h. So what is the volume equal to? Well, it's equal to 4,622.9. The radius is equal to 9 squared, and then we have our pi and our h value. So now we go through, if we calculate 9 squared times pi, and in this case I'm going to keep it in decimal form. I know sometimes it gets confusing which way we go. Typically the height is not listed in terms of pi, it's listed as a regular number or a decimal, so that's why we're converting it. All right, so these three things here give you 254.5 times h. Divide both sides by 254 and we're going to get a height of 18. So again, this is another type of problem that we'll see where they give you the volume and you have to find something over here. Now there's two types of problems. One is trying to find the height. And so we're going to see that this one's going to be a little bit easier than finding the radius. The radius has an extra step to it, but it's really not that difficult. Okay. All right, the next one here, they give you the volume, they give you the height, and now they want you to find the radius. This one has a little bit more work involved, but it's really not that difficult. You know how to do this. So we're going to list the volume first, then the radius squared times pi times 17. So what I do on the right side is I take 17 times pi and I get 53.4 r squared. Now what I'm going to do is divide both sides by 53.4, and that gives me approximately 49. It ends up being about 49.00 something, which we're just going to call this 49. And because it equals the r squared, we have to take the square root of 49, which gives you a radius of 7. So here you've seen now a problem where you find the radius, we've seen a problem where you have to find the height, and we've seen a problem where you have to find the volume when you're given a radius, and a problem finding the volume given a diameter. So those are the different types of problems you'll have for areas of cylinders.